According to historian Kenneth Greenberg, Nat Turner is the most famous, least known person in American history. Most of what we know of Nat Turner is to be found in a 24-page pamphlet called The Confessions of Nat Turner, written by a Southampton County attorney named Thomas Ruffin Gray, who gained access to Turner when he was in jail waiting for trial over the 3 days, and he heard Turner's account. Or at least that's what he says. And also William Styron's account in the Puzzler Prize-winning fictionalized autobiography, The Confessions of Nat Turner, 1967. The problem with most slave narratives, though, is that they are rarely written by the enslaved people themselves, so we cannot believe everything we read is true. So, here are 3 fun facts you might not know about Nat Turner. Nat Turner was born on October 2nd, 1800 in Southampton County, Virginia, as a slave of Benjamin Turner. His mother was an enslaved woman named Nancy, but his father is unknown. All we know is that his father escaped slavery. Nat Turner could also provide details of events that occurred before his birth. This gained him the nickname the Prophet. He received divine visions to avenge slavery and lead his fellow enslaved people from bondage. He read the Bible a lot, and he was also nicknamed the Preacher. He believed the solar eclipse of February 12, 1831, was a sign to begin the planning of his uprising. Another eclipse happened on August 13, 1831, where Turner again took this as a sign. We also know that Nat Turner had a family, a wife named Cherry. Some historians dispute her exact name because she wasn't as well known, and a son named Riddick, and was considered a literate slave, meaning he knew how to read and write. In fact, it was because he was literate that laws were passed after his rebellion that caused the Virginia legislature to impose additional restrictions and harsher penalties on enslaved and free African Americans. In April of 1831, Virginia declared that any meetings to teach free African Americans to read or write was illegal. So it ain't matter if you was a slave or not. They still didn't want any black people reading or writing. After the slave revolt led by Nat Turner in 1831, all slave states except for Maryland, Kentucky, and Tennessee passed laws against teaching slaves to read and write. I said 3, but here's a 4th one. Nat doesn't have a gravesite. It is believed that after he was hanged, Turner's body was beheaded and probably skinned and dissected. Because y'all do know that they hung us and kept body parts for souvenirs, right? They even turned into cannibals, some of them. There's a book called The Delectable Negro that talks about how human consumption in the U.S. slave culture and how some whites would consume the flesh of those they lynched. Well, in 2016, the most recent update is that they returned Nat Turner's skull, or what is believed to be his skull, to his descendants. Since receiving the skull, the family has temporarily placed it with the Smithsonian Institution, where DNA testing will be done to determine whether it is the authentic remains of Nat Turner.